Hey guys, welcome back to another Pop Review. I'm Alex.
I'm Sean.
Today we're going to be talking about Incredibles 2! So Incredibles 2, we just saw it, and I was overall quite pleased. They pretty much picked up exactly where the last one left off.
Okay, well before we go forward, let's just put it out. This is a spoiler review, so if you have seen the movie, continue watching. If you haven't, please go watch the movie, and then after that, come back and join us. Okay.
Yes, indeed. So yeah, they picked up right where they left off in the last film.
Which I liked, and some people are like, well, why are they picking up where they just let off? It's been so long. Why don't we see them age? Like for me, and I think we said this in the trailer reviews, like I want to see this time. Because now that supers are coming back, we want to see how the world's going to react to them. There's story to tell there, and I'm glad that they picked up exactly where we left.
Absolutely, and if you're talking about, obviously this movie has a huge fan base.
Yes.
So if we're talking about multiple films going forward, you want to make sure that you don't jump too forward in time right away, because you want to save that for later.
Maybe because the way this film ends, they can easily jump forward, or we can literally pick up exactly where this film leaves off too.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we'll get to.
And one thing that I really like about superhero films in general, especially ones where it's like the passing of the torch type thing, which this wasn't that, but since they have kids, there is that element pre-built into the story where
they
it's sort of like...
easily went into. I'm glad they didn't.
Right, but if there's potential for that later in a televised, like a serialized sort of situation maybe,
Possibly,
which would be really great, or if they decide to, after the third one comes out, whatever that is, if they want to sort of explore a different, era, they have that option because there's so many different superheroes to explore.
I love this era that Brad Bird is, and this world that Brad Bird has built. It's like a stylistic Mad Men type feel, which... By
the way, I did not realize... I guess I only saw the first one a few times, and it was a long time ago, and I rewatched it again a few days ago. I did not realize this was a period piece.
Yeah.
I don't know why that never dawned on me. I thought maybe it was
I love
just...
it that way.
Yeah, no, it's great. There's the Saul Bass kind of opening with the animation and stuff like that, but I just want to throw that out there that for some reason that was lost on me for many years. And now that I've picked up on that, I like it even more.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue what you were saying.
This Mad Men type, 60s kind of stylistic,
absolutely
slash almost futuristic, because that was the thing back then.
Totally.
This is the way of the future, like the house.
Tomorrowland.
Yeah, exactly. Like the house that they're living in. That's like what they thought. Oh, this is what the future houses will look like. So I love that we're in that world, and I don't really want to escape it yet. There's still a lot of things you can mine in that time period, so I hope they stay there. Absolutely,
and if we want to jump sort of right into the story itself, this is a great transitional point right now, because when you're doing a period piece and a superhero film, there's always technology involved, right? Where there's, you have to do the super suit thing, there's always some sort of surveillance or new gadgets or automobiles, whatever it is. And that works so much better, I feel, if you're setting it in the past than it does now, because our technology now, I feel, is so advanced that I get bored when you introduce some sort of new technology to me if something takes place in present day.
Yeah,
it's
I understand.
We can already do that. Yeah,
it calls back to the Bond movies of that period. Where they had the gadget cars.
Yeah, and they're really pushing. But it feels fresh again. It
really does, because even Bond has kind of gone away from that. And our superhero movies are a lot different now.
Exactly, because technology has picked up so quickly in the last several decades.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the first movie, latched on so well, because it had that kind of flavor to it. And this one, it continued it. So I was really happy that it had that same kind of feel, right away, we're right back where we were. It feels good. Feels like home.
So I don't know, if we had to guess a year, I would say maybe 64, 65.
60s, yeah, somewhere in the
mid-60s.
Mid-60s,
And our villain, Screenslaver, really has this message that would have been really pertinent. Well, it is pertinent now too, really because we are glued to our screens.
Yes.
But also back then, there was also this massive push about that because television was becoming much more prominent.
Yeah,
and it was in households, starting in the 50s. And certainly in the 60s, you started to see a lot of more serialized television pop up.
Yeah, there's pretty much like a television boom at that time. Like,
and
like,
so it's
like, what is this medium, and like how you use it?
How is it affecting our children?
Dangerous? Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of questions.
Culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and the fact that Screenslaver brought up this fact that we just sit around and wait for people to save us. Like, you don't take it upon yourself, to take care of your own business. You're like, oh well, I will just call the superhero. I won't try to save me. I'll have someone else save me.
Yeah, well, we could take it one step back, not even about the superheroes, but just about the media.
Yeah.
About how, you want everything to be so convenient for you, which is so true now, too. So,
Absolutely.
it's a really relevant topic, I guess, and just a really good villain, I thought, at least in its ideology.
And that's pretty much where it was.
That's where it ends.
That's pretty much where it ends.
The ideology, at least, of playing with this idea of, there's screens everywhere, there's media that we're intaking from all these different sources, and everybody's sort of gotten weak because everybody, this media just comes to you and that's it. You don't have to go seek it out even.
Yeah, I mean, whether you take it as gospel. I think whatever media is just put in front of you, you just take it as we're in a society now where whatever's in front of you, it just has to be true. And I think you have to not be you have to try to not just take it as it is. You want to do a little bit more homework, as it says. So, and I think that's what Screensaver's point was, or what her point was, which is, we'll get to that too.
Well, right. So thematically, I sort of like that, and that ties into the idea that I only just found out or realized that it was a period piece. I don't know where I've been, but I thought maybe it was just stylized. But yeah, I was like, wait a minute, this actually takes place in the 60s. Anyway, we can actually start talking about the film now, more specifically, if you'd like. Where would you like to start?
I mean, we see, it literally just picks up exactly where the last one with the Underminer coming up. He's robbing a bank, and I thought to myself, well, if he lives underground, why does he need money? But whatever. So they try to stop him, and of course Mr. Incredible does his thing where, he stops him, but he wrecks a lot of things. So, the government is not happy. And so, I like the one thing I will say about this movie is, and it kind of, some of it comes from the first one, is that we spent a lot of time with Mr. Incredible in the first one, where he's off doing his hero thing, and Helen and Elastigirl is home with the kids, and they've kind of flipped it. So now, because Mr. Incredible did all this damage, they want to use Elastigirl to kind of shepherd the supers back, and that puts Mr. Incredible on the sidelines.
Yeah.
So we never really see them doing their thing together, except for the battle at the end, and it kind of is the same thing in the first movie, and that's one of the things that I wish we had more of.
Yeah,
is we had more Mr. Incredible, and not just them, but the family together doing their thing. And we got a little taste of that in the beginning,
right? And
then we got a little taste of it at the end. But the whole rest of the movie, they're not doing that, and that's the thing I was longing for. That we really didn't get a lot in the first one either. We just got it at the end.
Well, right, but if you're picking up where you left off, this is still very new for their family. And if I was a parent, I would sort of be like, no, we're not doing this. This is too dangerous.
Yeah.
No, kids, you're going to stay home. So, there still was that struggle of So
I understood. No, you watch Jack.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch Jack.
So it made sense to me why they didn't all of a sudden become this team of superheroes.
No, that at the beginning I understand, but I just thought they would eventually just shepherd them in more. Instead of just all right, now, Mr. Incredible, you're on the sidelines. Elastigirl, you're in the forefront. You did that in the other movie. In the third movie, I hope, we actually see them as a family, as a team, now that everybody's kind of comfortable in their roles, and now they know Jack has powers, which we'll get into Jack in a little bit. I'm just hoping that we see the team, the family, as supers.
Right. Well, by the end of the film, it was the kids who saved the day.
Yeah, which I liked.
Which I like. Which is nice. So like they're putting these pieces together of, okay, you're gonna work alone, you're gonna work with me, you're gonna work. We can't do this as a family. Oh, the kids are always gonna try to find a way to like save mom and dad. And so I think by the end of the film, they sort of started to understand, like, okay, you know what? Maybe we really do work best as a team. Even though you have homework and you are still an adolescent and there's other things you need to be worrying about, like, maybe, they save the day. So maybe we do need to incorporate the kids more. So I think when we get a third one.
Hopefully we get a third one.
I don't see why they wouldn't do that.
I mean, it's tracking to have a great opening weekend. So hopefully, Brad Bird said, when after the first one, he said, I'm only going to make a second one if I have a great story to tell. So I guess it took him that long to come up with a good story. So hopefully they do want to do it.
So we'll see you in 15 years for the review of Incredibles 3. Yeah.
Hopefully it won't take that long, and hopefully Brad Bird has a good story to tell to do a third one, because the movie sets up prime to do a third one.
Yeah, and what I wouldn't like to see is they have a great script, Brad Bird doesn't want to do it, so they ask someone else to do it.
Which I hope
that's what I wouldn't want to see, because I actually thought he did an incredible job as a director with this one.
Oh, absolutely.
But let's go back sort of to just the story itself and the dynamic with the family. I left the theater wondering, really, whose story it was, and I think it was still Mr. Incredible's story at the end, because he was the one who had to learn how to take care of the kids. He was the one who had to learn to let go and let Helen, I think he was the one who actually had the emotional character arc in the story, and I don't think Helen actually did. She just sort of was out there doing what she does and didn't really learn anything. So it was still Mr. Incredible's story.
I agree with you, because in the first one we had to, he was, they had to go into hiding. He had a 9-to-5 job, which he hated. He had to try to find his self-worth back in the first one. I think in this one he was frustrated that they're putting Helen in the forefront. How do I deal with that? And then not only that, I got to juggle the kids, and the kids aren't
unruly,
and Jack's running around.
There's new math.
He won't go to sleep. Yeah,
so hard.
A lot of new math.
That terrifies me.
So I actually totally agree with you that Mr. Incredible's journey is what we're following through, and Helen's just kind of dealing with she's dealing with something, but I don't think her character learned as much. Yeah,
she didn't really change. Like, she's always been this badass, balancing.
Well, she had a little bit of a dilemma in the sense that, like, when she said, like, I have to fix my family, I have to leave it. To fix the world, I gotta break the law. So she had that little bit of dilemma.
It's hard to be a woman.
Yeah. So, and then trying to find her place, and then trying to, be comfortable being in the forefront, because now everybody's looking at her. There is no Mr. Incredible. It's just Elastigirl.
She did pretty well, though.
I know, but I think she was just getting comfortable in the fact that now she's in the forefront, and she handled it well.
Yeah.
But at some point she was a little uncomfortable with it, like, now I'm the star. But I agree with you, the emotional journey is with Mr. Incredible.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be comfortable being the second banana, because he's never been that before. And that's what got him in trouble in the first movie, is like, he didn't want Buddy's help. He's like, oh, I work alone.
Yeah, his whole MO is, no, I need to do this alone. I need to do this by myself. And, that is an arc that has sort of transcended both Incredibles, 1 and 2. Where still at the end he's sort of like, no, I gotta do this. It's like, no, you don't have to do it alone.
Well, even when they first said, like, we're gonna go with Alaska, it's like, even like, she's gonna be the face, even more important than me.
Yeah.
And then she kind of gave that look like, well, what's wrong with me being in the forefront? So, like, I love the fact that even though we didn't spend as much time with him as we did in the first one, it's still kind of his story. Because he's the one on this emotional journey, and Helen is just kind of moving the story along.
Yeah.
Like with the screenslaver, but we always come back to him.
Yeah.
And how he's dealing with Jack, how he's dealing with the other two kids.
Right.
So
I personally wish that it would have been a little more struggle on Helen's end, but then again, that would have touched into some dangerous territory for me with. We'll talk about the feminism of this film in a moment, but the only real arc that she could have had is like, I I need to be with my kids. I need to be the mom. And I'm really glad that they didn't do that. I wish that she had an arc because I like her as a character, but the only arc she really could have had is, oh, what am I doing? I need to be with the family. I'm the matriarch of the family. I need to be a mom.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm glad they didn't do that. Yeah,
because I could understand if they did, only because the roles were reversed. She was staying at home taking care of them.
Yeah.
So the second, like when he was like, "Oh, there's something with Jack," so, do you want me to come home? I can come home. Yeah. But because she's just concerned that he can't, because he's not used to doing that. Mm-hmm. He's used to being a superhero, so with superhero stuff, she'd be comfortable leaving the kids with him. But because he's supposed to be the stay-at-home dad now, I can understand her being a little worried about that situation. But I'm glad it wasn't like, oh my God, I have to. Well, the kids, I can't leave them. Blah,
yeah, I'm really glad
that
was not the theme of the film. We talked about this when we watched the second trailer, where I was like, no, please don't make it this whole thing where she learns that she has to stay home with the kids. And that's wrong for her to go out and be a superhero. I'm so glad they didn't do that. There are some other issues I have with how women were treated in the film, but we can talk about that later. Let's actually talk. Although now might be a great time to sort of talk about our villain in the story.
Yeah.
And sort of how that disappointed me in a few ways. So when we saw the trailer, we didn't get to see Screenslaver, what was her name? I don't even know.
I can't remember.
Her name. The dude's sister.
Yeah, the dude's sister.
We didn't see her in any of the trailers.
Well, we saw Screenslaver at the end
we saw Screenslaver as Screenslaver,
yeah, but
we
never
did not
saw
see the dude's sister.
No.
So we thought, and it was pretty predictable that the people who are trying to bring superheroes back are probably the bad guys. It turns out that there are two people trying to bring superheroes back, and one of them's the bad guy.
Yeah.
So we were sort of half right, I guess.
We thought the main guy, the head of the company, who played by Bob Odenkirk, which I love. Now, this is a side thing. He would have been perfect in Mad Men because that character would have fit perfectly in Mad Men. The way Bob talks, and he still kind of had that Saul Goodman from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul kind of feel to him. The way that character was made.
It's like just a
he
little
was my favorite. I loved him every time he was on screen.
Sleaze,
yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
Because he's charming.
Exactly, and that's Saul Goodman. So I was like that. Like, dude, you really?
Yeah.
You're kind of an asshole, but I like you.
Yeah.
So he came across with that.
That was good casting.
Yeah, great casting.
But yeah, so we. It was something that I feel like we both, I think, figured out pretty early on, like, oh, she's the villain. Just sort of the character design, in a way, where a lot of time female villains will be sort of sultry and, just the way her eyes were designed, kind of like almost this cat eye type situation, sort of this cynical look to her design, and it's just sort of obvious at that point. And
even her, I'm trying to remember her name. But even her name, is kind of a giveaway. But
yeah, and I wish. Well, okay. Let me just go. We'll go out on the feminist limb here for a second. And I really was not wanting them to pit women against each other, and they did. And I was so disappointed with that because you see this all the time. It's sort of like you see women starting to come together as a team. So she was, the designer, the technician, the inventor, and Elastigirl is sort of the face and the executor. And they were building this friendship, which is really sad that the fact that I saw that happening meant that one of them, that she was bad.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that they were building a friendship meant, to me, was like, uh-oh, this isn't going to go well. Which is really sad to see women represented that way on the screen in that way, because you can build a nice relationship with another woman and not have one of them turn out to be the villain.
No, of course. And then
I just wish they wouldn't have done that. It would have been really nice to see the women come together to solve the problem and the crime, as opposed to oh no, turns out you can't trust women. One of them's evil.
I wish the movie would have had the brother be the villain.
Right.
To be honest.
Yeah. It wouldn't have,
because as soon as he was telling them the story about how their parents were killed, and then she said, "Well, Dad should have went to the panic room."
Yeah.
And he's like interrupting. I was like, "Oh, she's a villain."
Yeah, I know, and like the gender thing. The thing is, they played with our expectations, like, oh, they're becoming friends. Finally, Helen has a friend, or someone to like really understand her as a woman in this realm,
and putting her needs first. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're in the front.
And but the fact that then they twisted that and made it so that sorry, actually the woman's the villain.
Yeah.
Like really annoyed me. Like I don't mind female villains at all. I think they're badass. I love Maleficent. But the fact that they had an opportunity to do something a little different, I think, especially if it's set in the 60s, things were different for women back then. Like,
Absolutely.
really different. And so it would have been nice to see something that wasn't that. I don't know. Maybe, correct me if I'm wrong.
Or just
I don't think I am.
set up her character a little bit more. Maybe the brother just doesn't take her seriously or doesn't treat her like an equal. And then she has a reason to try to kind of turn on him.
Yeah.
In a sense, but the only thing about this movie that I didn't like is that it just seemed very predictable. Like when they brought the other supers in, I was like, oh, they're definitely gonna fight them. Mm-hmm. Like they're just there for fodder, and it's like, But it's funny how, even though the movie was very predictable, I still liked it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. But everything that happened was just like, but the only thing that I thought was gonna go a little bit, they were gonna do more of it when Helen fought Mr. Incredible. I thought that was gonna go on a little bit longer.
A little bit longer, yeah.
I was like, as soon as he walked, I was like, oh, here we go.
That actually would have been really nice because they could have sort of brought in like their marital and family issues into that fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where Helen could be saying stuff like, you're a bad father, or like just sort of like I always have to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
Like they really could have built that up.
That was weird that it was just very quick.
Yeah,
and I was like,
it was really quick.
That's the only thing that really kind of surprised me. I was like, oh, that happened.
It's possible that was a scene that was cut out.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if that was longer.
Yeah. I agree with you on that front.
Let's talk about Jack. So
let's talk about Jack.
So in the first movie, when everything's going around, they actually made if you get the Blu-ray, there's a version of when the babysitter's watching Jack, and he shows he has all his powers, and she's like, I don't know. And then we see how she's calling Helen and leaving him messages, kind of like, I don't know what to do with the kid. Mm-hmm. So they don't realize he has powers in the first one, even though we know he has powers. Mm-hmm. So in the second one, when Mr. Incredible sees him play with the raccoon, like that scene is amazing.
That was the best scene in the film.
Especially the way they set it up.
The best scene.
Like, so Jack is watching the old gangster shows, and the cop Bandit. with the eye black, and then now he looks and he sees the raccoon. That must be a bad guy, so he goes out there.
It's his first arch nemesis.
I know.
It's adorable.
If there's a third one, you have to bring that raccoon back again for round 2, because that scene was incredible. Pun intended. So, like, we actually start seeing some of his powers, and of course he's a baby, so he doesn't know how to control them yet.
Yeah.
And according to Brad Bird, he actually has 17 powers.
And they do say that it's normal for young supers to have more than one power, but 17 is pretty insane. I do hope, though, if we do get to see him grow up, even in increments, I hope that he maintains all of those powers.
Oh, yeah.
Because that would just be incredible.
Yeah, or what the other ones are.
Yeah.
Because we didn't see all of them. So we saw the laser beams. We saw him, he can go into other dimensions. We saw him grow bigger. We saw him turn into
become the demon.
Yeah.
He becomes jelly. Like he becomes jelly Jack.
He can morph into other people. So we saw a lot of powers.
I mean, honestly, that was the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah, like that scene.
Jack.
And I was like, wow, it's going pretty long, but I was enjoying it. Like him fighting that raccoon, and then Mr. Incredible coming out like, oh my god, he has powers!
Yeah.
And the way he was so like, yeah, he has powers, and then you realize, oh man, he has powers, and I gotta deal with that.
Yeah.
And like him not wanting to go to sleep, and then num with the cookie, num.
Like it's gotta be hard enough to raise a child, I imagine.
Well, the fact that he didn't want to go to sleep.
It's probably exactly what it's like.
Well, that he didn't want to go to sleep, yeah. And then now on top of that, he has powers. I got to deal with that.
Yeah.
So the fact that Jack was, I think he was one of the standouts of the movie.
I agree. Yeah. And I thought, we talked about this when we watched the trailers, like I thought that Jack was maybe going to be more of a central plot point, because I thought that someone is going to realize how many powers he has, and they're going to want to take him and raise them for their own, and raise them as, oh, this is my weapon. This, but maybe that's the third one.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because I thought that would be a really great way to utilize his powers and to sort of build a story around that. I thought he was going to be a little more central. He was very effective, though, when they needed to use Jack.
Shoot the laser. So, like...
Pew, pew. I like how you have to say pew. It's so great.
It was great. So Dash was an annoying little kid, but he's supposed to be annoying. He's fast.
He's at that age.
He does everything very quickly, so, like...
But, we did actually see a little bit of a change in Violet, though, as well. Yeah. Where she was just very sort of angry about her newfound identity and how that fits in with everything she's doing. Dad erased her, her crush's memory, and, like, she's like, I don't want to be a superhero, I hate this. And by the end, she changes her mind.
Yeah, she completely embraced it.
Yeah.
Which is... She was actually, like... She was also annoying... But in a teenager, like, going through...
She reminds me so much of me, I gotta be honest.
It's like when Dash was like, was she going through adolescence? Like, yeah. Like, rebelling about, like, no, I don't want to be a super anymore. This is stupid. Yeah. I denounce them. And then she comes around and it's like, oh, I denounce my denouncement. So, I was like, oh, every time she was talking, oh, be quiet. But
I don't know. She reminds me of me, fine. So...
But I don't want you to be quiet. But sometimes you're just like,
But that was the other arc we got. I would say if we had two characters with arcs, it would be Mr. Incredible and it would be Violet.
Yeah, because she definitely came around. Dash was less annoying by the end, and Jack. Jack had an arc too, because he kind of started to learn how to use it towards the end. I
don't know how much of a character arc that is, as opposed to just like
he's embracing more of his powers, so he kind of is more comfortable with them. So maybe they're not happening as random.
You're right. I don't know how cognitively that's working out for him, but
when he spent time with Miss Mode, started to take some, which was a great one. That was please have more scenes with her. Like, she only had one really scene in the last one, and just this scene in the first one. She's like, babysitting? I don't babysit.
I hope they do like a short or something with her.
She definitely needs one.
In between the third one. I hope we could just get like a little Mode short.
Yeah, like a 15-minute short. Yeah.
It was so adorable when Jack, they're like walking down the hall and he's like sucking on his lollipop the same way that Anna is smoking. Oh my god.
It was so great. It was so great.
I don't know. I'm like,
and Brad Bird voices her too, which is interesting. Yeah. So like, please just have more of her. Like, that scene is just great. Like, oh, I will not babysit. What are you doing, Robert? And then, the kid has powers. Yes, go away. So I love her, but for me, the movie just very predictable, especially since once the Supers team came in, it was just very like by the numbers.
It's true.
I like Frozone though, like Samuel L. Jackson's character, which he wasn't in the movie a lot.
He wasn't, and also I was really sad because if you remember from our trailer review, I really wanted Honey to show up as a superhero.
We wanted that.
I really, really wanted that.
Because
maybe we'll still get it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Throwing it out into the universe.
Right. That's
Honey has to show up. Like, of course they're a superhero couple, but neither of them, like, he doesn't know. That'd be so great.
Well, I'm pretty sure she knows, but maybe she's real, like, he knows, but she's a real badass. She's like, fine.
I don't know. That would be such a great surprise,
I'll help you
if
guys.
Everyone is surprised to see her show up, and then it's like,
oh yeah, they'll be surprised. I told you to come right back. Fine, I'll help you myself.
See, that would be amazing.
Because like her lines, like, I'll meet you there ASAP. You better be back ASAP. Like, that sassiness, I want to see who that sassy person is.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to see her in the third one. If there's a third one.
Yeah, I hope so. And that would also be another, just for me, like, just another nice woman character to like a strong female voice, which would be nice. I wonder what her superpower would be. Probably fire.
Maybe. That would be hilarious.
I mean, it would be great.
Fire and ice.
Yeah.
Like, she just has to come in for one scene and just wreck shop. Like, oh my god, like, why were you staying home the whole time?
It doesn't even have to be what the movie's about. Just one little moment where it's like, oh, what?
Wreck shop, yeah. So, Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Well, I guess we can talk a little bit about where this world leaves off.
Yeah.
And for the future, because it did feel like a movie that's like working into a sequel, and I'm sure they did that on purpose.
Like it feels like the middle chapter. I mean,
yeah, whether or not Brad Bird wants to do it, I mean, that's sort of what they built up. Now we have this world in which supers can be out in the public.
Absolutely.
So you have the opportunity for more characters, like not even just the ones that we saw, that like new ones like Void and Brick, which by the way, he's from Wisconsin. So that made me laugh, because I'm from Wisconsin, and I'm pretty sure I know people like that. That was cute. Yeah, Wisconsin strong.
All right, relax.
But I'm fine. But it's always cute to see.
I mean, it really
my home state being made fun of.
Yeah, but it really felt like the middle chapter. So but because the way the movie ended, now supers are back. We should see more supers, and then we should see more super villains now.
Yeah.
Because with heroes, equal villains.
Yes.
So
yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
There has to be now, if there's going to be a third one, I want to see a really strong villain that's like, well, I'm now the supers are back. I'm going to put you guys away. Yeah. And then the Incredible, they have to act as a family now and fight him as a family. Right. That's what I really want to see out of the third one.
Yeah, I agree. And even serialized would be nice. I think they would do a really nice job with like an episodic type situation.
Oh yeah. I mean, yes, only if it does a time jump. Like the third one, I think should take up right after the second one did. Yeah. And then after that movie, if you want to do a series of them, then you can maybe like skip forward 10 more years. Yeah. And then Violet can be in college, and Dash can be in high school, and
there's so much potential.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love, like, what Disney is now actually going to make their own streaming service next year. That could be a prime thing you can put on there. Oh, absolutely. If you wanted to.
Well, when you think about, we're talking about the future now. I'm not talking about the movie anymore. If you think about Jack, what a great character to have. You have all. Let's imagine he's Dash's age in the future, and you have all these powers, and it's like an identity crisis.
Oh, absolutely. I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it would be like a great character. So he's like, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, what is my power? Like, why do I have all these powers? Like, it would be a really nice thing to explore. So I guess
like he's way too powerful. I can't juggle it all.
Yeah, maybe he never actually really learns to control all of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I guess the point is there's a lot of potential to move forward with this.
Tons.
And I hope they do. The last thing that I wanted to say was just how incredible the action scenes were.
They were great.
And I use incredible sort of as a pun, but of course. Not a pun, but yeah, they really were great. Yeah, the first one with the train.
The train scene was great.
That editing was just amazing. It was so good. It was so quick, but like stylized and but it like also just so graceful. Absolutely. So shout out to the editor, and then also of course, obviously all of the Previs team, the storyboarders, and Brad Bird, of course.
I mean, my favorite fight scene was when Helen fought Screenslaver. Mm. That fight, and it just looked even different too. Yeah. I was like, oh my god, it looks so beautiful. It looked incredible.
I've seen live action fight sequences that were way less impressive than that. Yeah, that was really, really good. I think
for me that's sequences my favorite part of the movie, fight wise, was that fight. Just the way it was staged. The choreography was incredible.
Right, well, and the fun that they have with Elastigirl too, because she's sort of like a Spider-Man in some ways, where she can sort of like, she can swing from place to place. Yeah. Like she's just sort of can be everywhere in that way, but also has.
We got a good sense of her powers, like the way she can be. So she's kind of like Spider-Man. That's one because she could swing. She's kind of like Mr. Fantastic because he could stretch. So we saw a lot of that. Yeah. Because again, they put her in the forefront. So I would love to see, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying before, her and Mr. Incredible kind of teaming up. Mm-hmm. To fight a bad guy and playing off their powers together, which would be great.
Yeah, And obviously just seeing more of the kids
Yeah.
evolve as, you know, because we saw Violet just from one film picking up exactly where we left off in another, like she really started to come into her own and started using some new techniques.
Exactly.
So
especially when she was fighting Void, like how she's be able to use her bubble and everything, finding new ways to use their powers. It's hard for Jack for him to find a new way to run fast. I mean, just run fast, but with her and Jack and Helen and Mr. Incredible, there's so much more you can do with them and their powers, especially when you combine them with somebody else.
Jack tries to run backwards and he can actually time travel? There we go.
Who knows? I mean, I think...
Well, okay, one last thing though, with Void. Do you feel like her character design has showed up somewhere else? I feel like they have recycled her design from something, just like her face. I can't put my finger on what it is, but I've seen that design before. I don't know if it's Disney or not, but...
I don't know. All the characters look very...
I don't know. I just kind of looked at her and I was like, wait, where's she from? And I was like, wait, this is an animated movie. She's not an actor. They designed her.
Yeah.
I had to take that moment.
I don't know. That might be you. I didn't...
Maybe. I'll think about it. If you guys think of anything that may resemble Void in another cartoon, or even just a live action actor, let us know in the comments, because it's been bothering me since I saw the movie. I just keep thinking, like, where have I seen her before?
All right, out of 10, what would you want to give it?
I'm going to give this one an 8. I just thought it was a solid movie. I thought they had some problems with the villain, but the characters are so strong, and just we love to see them in action, and the action sequences were so great, and there's so much potential. Like you said, it feels like a middle movie. Because of that, I'm just going to give it an 8. I really was riveted throughout the whole thing, even though, like you said, it was a little predictable at times. So yeah, really enjoyed it. 8 what?
8 Jack powers. I don't know.
8 Jacks. Yeah, 8 Jacks.
Okay. I actually will give it the exact same score. I'll give it an 8. Besides it being, even though it was very predictable, if I was enjoying what I was looking at. So,
every minute of the way.
Learning more about seeing Mr. Incredible evolve a little bit more, seeing Helen be more in the forefront, even though, you know, I'll say again, they didn't have enough screen time together as supers.
Yeah.
I still really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to hopefully there being a third. If there's not a third one now, it's just a big enough crime as there was when we saw the first one. Where's the sequel? Now if this goes 4 or 5 years, like, dude, where's the third one? There has to be a third one. You can't leave it, because they leave it where, like, they're on a date, which I love. They're like, oh, we're going to the movies, and then they're like, well, oh no, there's a bank robbery. And she's like, oh, go buy the popcorn and save me a seat. I'll be right back. She's probably not coming back. And she has to explain that, which would be kind of funny.
But yeah, you know, and there was this little opening moment where some of the voice actors and Brad Bird were just sort of like, sorry for letting you wait so long, but it takes so long to make these movies. And it's like, give me a break. You can do it quicker.
Yeah, but, I mean, with that, there was an opening, and then Samuel Jackson, it'll be worth the wait. And it was worth the wait. It was a really good movie.
But I know that they can turn them out faster.
You can turn it out faster.
And it would still be good.
And I don't want to be complaining about it, because these movies are expensive, and you gotta coordinate things. It does take time. But hopefully we don't have to wait 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years for part 3. Hopefully, because it will make a lot more money than the first one did. That's no question. Yeah. So hopefully Disney will go to Brad Bird, or maybe they already had this talk and say, hey, you want to make a third one? We'll do it if you want to do it. Because I will be disappointed if anybody besides Brad Bird does the third one. Yeah. If he doesn't want to do it, I mean, that's one thing. But if he's on board, obviously Disney will be on board. It should be a match made in heaven. It should be greenlit already. So hopefully we won't have to wait long, because everybody will want the third one.
Yeah,
including us.
Well, let us know in the comments if you've seen the movie, how you felt about it, and what you think about the villain, Screenslaver, which we didn't even really talk about because I felt like it was, you know, a little disappointing.
I mean, she was more like a Marvel villain in a sense, like you're just there to prop up the heroes. So
right.
Which is fine, but
still fun. So let us know what you think about that. What you think about any character arcs that we may have missed, or maybe any sort of Easter eggs that we might not have noticed in terms of how they're going to move forward with the third one, or even some sort of serialized situation. So Thanks for joining us today on this pop review. We'll see you in 15 years for
Hopefully not.
installation number 3. Just kidding. If you liked this, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel because we do this sort of stuff all the time. And thank you again for joining us. Until next time, I'm Alex.
I'm Sean.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I tried to stretch and it didn't.